Bonjour and welcome to Rauta. I am Jerry and this time we'll delve into the French metal scene. Before we just start unboxing this beautiful looking, minimal but beautiful Digipack release by Mourning Dawn, let's take a quick look on Metal Archive site for a little bit of background information. Now, every man and every woman and their aunts and dogs know what Death Doom is all about. But when I say Black Doom Metal, it gets a little bit trickier. Not because it's complicated, but more so because it's not too common. I would even go as far as to say it's pretty rare to see Black Doom metal bands, even though, technically speaking, it shouldn't be that hard or challenging to do it, given the popularity, well, relative popularity of Death and Doom. You all know how it started early 90s from England, more or less, with bands like My Dying Bird, Anathema, and all that stuff. But for some reason, Black Doom metal bands seem to be a rarity, and this is exactly that, coming from Paris, France, since 2002. However, it was born here, as it said, as a one-man band and fully established a little bit later on. Now, more than 20 years later, the band has quite a few releases out, including but not limited to 6 full albums, as well as some splits and beyond that stuff. Now, of course, here we are to talk about the 2024 release, The Foam of Despair. So let's tune it for that. And as you can see, it's so minimal that it can barely see. That is because, well, the camera is a little bit auto-adjusting itself because of the sunlight here. So if I a little bit take it back, you can barely see the name here. White against, well, pale gray. This is a very fitting cover to the bleakness of the thing here. As you can see, it's just one person, what could be seen as, I'm guessing, icy field. On the other side of the release, it's almost as minimal with a little of some kind of a glimpse of light. I'm not sure where it's coming from. And then the track listing, which is just there, mostly English, but not fully. Inside, obviously, we will find a booklet and a CD. I say obviously, even though these days booklets are not that obvious. Here's the lineup for guys. Aesthetic Death logo as per the label, and underneath the CD, there's the CD tray with more bleakness, all white and gray, which should give you a little bit of idea how bleak the music is. Now, coming from the world of doom and death metal, everybody knows that it's basically a combination of death metal's heaviness and doom metal's tragicness, as well as slow or at most mid-tempo. Like said, Mourning Dawn is Doom Black, which is basically the same, but you just replace death metal parts in Doom Death with black metallic parts. Now, of course, people are like, okay, it doesn't mean they're satanic bands with just slow tempo and all. And I would say not exactly. So there are differences, but there are also a lot of similarities. Let's go for the CD version here in terms of showing you the track list and all, so you can see. Here it says 500 copies by Aesthetic Death, released early January 2024, or mid-January, whatever. And that's pretty much the basic info you need to know. Almost an hour-long album with heaviness, a lot of heaviness, and lots of those moments where you get like, yes, this is definitely kind of a doomy, but not your like heavy doom or epic doom or all that stuff. So forget everything you're thinking about now. Beautiful heavy metal vocals or doom metal vocals in terms of the style, but thinking like definitely in the doom death. And like I said, replace the death metal like growly vocals with more like a black metal shriekiness and raspiness, and then you're roughly where this is supposed to happen. I wouldn't even go as far as to say let's split the the subgenres, mid-genres, whatever it means, and go for like this is basically doom death, but instead of those growly parts is those black metal vocals, because nothing really here kind of makes it feel like black death or doom death or doom black or all that stuff like so. I'm meaning, yes, you have those black metal vocals, but is there anything else really related to black metal? Hardly. I mean, when we're talking about the riffs, when we're talking about the feeling, yes, first you probably instantaneously start thinking of black metal because of the vocals, but everything else is here basically like your typical doom death, including rather lengthy takes on the track. I mean, there are a couple of songs which are not that lengthy, less than 6 minutes, well, 3 in all, but there are songs which are like over 9 or 11 minutes. And then when you have those heavier parts and the kind of a bleak atmosphere, which is also like crushing, oppressing and all, well, you get the kind of a doom death metal vibe. So, like I said, this could be doom death metal, easily so, if only the vocals were a little bit different. Now, the next question obviously is it catchy? Is it memorable? Is it good? I would say it depends. It depends how you view doom death metal genre to begin with. Now, if you're comparing this to, say, My Dying Bride and or early Paradise Lost or Anathema, early ones, now you might be thinking there must be some kind of a British bleakiness compared, but more like complemented by these tragic parts which almost like very, very gothic. Now, there's nothing really gothic about it, so I think in that sense this is not as strong in terms of impact on all than a lot of those classic bands. If you're comparing this to a funeral doom bands, well, I would say you're a little bit closer to that, but once again with different setting of vocals. And nothing here is super dark, so it depends how much bleakness, darkness, depression and all those topics you really need in order for you to work out. Are the riffs memorable? Is it anything like out of the scope, out of this world in terms of being supreme, sublime? Unfortunately, not really. I mean, if you're looking for heaviness and with the slow tempo and then you want those black metal vocals, then this is definitely your cup of tea. If you're looking for something really memorable, something that really sticks, something that is made of hit songs, for lack of a better word, I think this is not for you. It's a very, very acquired taste. I mean, don't get me wrong. The whole production is very fitting for this kind of stuff. And there's nothing stopping to say, use these raspy black metallic vocals with the kind of music which is definitely closer to doom death than anything else. But it is not exactly so powerful as, say, bands like Swallow the Sun. Thing here is, this is like having 2/3 of the needed ingredients in so many ways. But when it's supposed to grab you by the heart, I'm not gonna say by the balls, this ain't no Manowar, you're probably not getting it. I mean, this isn't exactly crushing as I would hope it to be. I mean, take in terms, for example, a band Winter from United States. Their death doom thing is so heavy, so crushing, it's powerful. Or those UK-based bands where there's this tragicness, sadness, and also all that. So you don't even need that level of heaviness. Now, Mourning Dawn with this particular album falls somewhere between. It tries to be dark and bleak, but it's not really that. It's not really tragic. It's not romantic. It's just like it's missing something. Maybe a dead person, maybe dead love. Something that really should make you kind of sad and feel sorry for the moments. Now it's more like we got the heaviness, we got the cloud, we got the fog. And then okay, something evil must be going on within that fog. Maybe I'm gonna walk into a swamp and drown myself. And then you're like, no, but it's just by the hips. So I'm saying this ain't no really, it's like some kind of a Swedish catatonia where you're like very melancholic and all, and you're not having those tragic elements or crushing elements. So a little bit in the middle. But if all you need is, in terms of difference and variety, those black metal vocals instead of just your typical growly ones, as well as the clean ones, then probably Mourning Dawn has a lot of things to say to you. It's quite okay of an album, but hardly great. So there's my verdict on that. But definitely worth giving a shot. I mean, it's not a bad album. It's better than mediocrity. It's just lacking some more important factors. That's, I guess, is the biggest flaw, if you can call any, on this album. But like I said, it's out since mid-January, so go take a look, go take a listen. You will find links provided in the description box. And now, of course, I hope you will like it more than I could. And off you go. Take care.